Hello and welcome to your practice. My name is Keegan, the Balanced Nomad, and today I'm going to be guiding you through this deep stretch for the hips and the hamstrings. This is a great practice if you work at a desk all day, or maybe you're a runner and just have really tight hips. We're going to work through them and hopefully feel really amazing at the end. And before we get into it, I just wanted to quickly say thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel. I just reached monetization, which means I finally have control over the ads YouTube places on my videos. So I've removed all of the mid-roll ads, so there won't be any more annoying interruptions throughout class. And I hope it makes your experience on the mat even better. And without further ado, let's get into practice. We're gonna start in a seated position. We're gonna find a butterfly shape with the legs. So bringing the feet together, bringing them into the hips, remembering we're gonna feel this more intensely the closer the feet are in towards you. So just choose a comfortable position. We are just starting, especially if you have tight hips. Don't force yourself into anything. Just let them naturally open throughout the duration of this practice. So we can start just taking a few breaths. We're gonna bring attention into the hips. Maybe we can feel ourselves already tensing here. Try to use the breath to relax into those muscles. Using the exhales to release any tension. And from this position, we're gonna find a forward fold. We can inhale the arms up, finding a nice long spine, bending ourselves forward, really emphasizing this fold from the hips here so we can feel this in our inner thighs. And walking ourselves forward, you can stay up on fingertips here, maybe into the palms, or even on the elbows. If it feels okay for the neck, just dropping the head here. And just like we did when we were seated, bringing the attention to the hips and trying to soften with the breath. That's really the goal of this practice, connecting the breath with the body to help relieve tension. And we can slowly walk ourselves back up with the hands, maybe just finding a windshield wiper motion to release the hips. And we can move on over to tabletop. So finding hands underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips, we can take some traditional cat and cows to start off, dropping down the belly, bringing gaze up to the sky. Rounding out through the spine, bringing chin to chest. Inhaling ourselves down. And exhaling, rounding out through the spine. Feel free to continue these traditional cat and cows, or maybe just taking some big circles with the entire body, getting the hips into this movement. Maybe drawing little figure 8 motions with the hips if that feels good. Really just moving intuitively here. Moving in both directions if you're taking these circles. And just coming back to neutral here. We're gonna move to low lunge from here, bringing right foot in between the hands to start off. Staying nice and low for 2 breaths. And moving to crescent lunge from this position. Inhaling arms up. We can interlock the hands, pointing index fingers up. Keeping arms aligned beside our ears. And maybe if it feels okay, taking a slight back bend here, bringing gaze up to the sky. And we can drop those hands back down to the mat, tucking those back toes and straightening through the leg, coming to our pyramid posture from here. Keeping fingertips on the mat or maybe coming down to palms. If you have blocks at home, can also be super helpful underneath the hands. Trying to imagine you can bring your nose to your knee and trying to remain with the hips square. So imagining we're pushing back the right hip and bringing the left hip forward. Really breathing into the back of that right leg here. And coming back to our low lunge position, transitioning from here into our lizard pose. So heel toeing that right foot to the right side of the mat. We can stay up on our palms here, or if it feels okay for you, you can come down to the elbows. Again, if you have blocks at home, maybe bringing blocks underneath the elbows for some added support. But no matter where you are, whether you're on elbows or up on your palms, focusing in on the breath, remembering not to lose it here. And if you're feeling like you can't breathe, you've gone too far into the pose, so just give yourself a little bit more space. Moving to our cow face legs from this position, bending into that right leg and placing it in front of the left, and we can sit down, trying to keep the right knee on top of the left knee. If this is just way too much for your hips here, you can always just come to a seated cross-leg position with that right leg in front. So play around, find what feels good for you. Again, if you're feeling any pain or you can't really breathe, it's definitely not right for you. So just choose what feels best. There's nothing to prove here on the mat today. We're just here to feel good. And from this position, we can inhale the arms up, elongating that spine and folding down. Maybe staying on fingertips or palms. You really don't need to go very far in this position. Even if you're just staying up and seated, that's totally fine as well. Really focusing our breath into that right hip flexor and that right outer glute. And walking the hands back up, moving back to our tabletop position from here. So maybe just rocking ourselves forward, uncrossing the legs and shaking out the hips. Once again, if you're feeling like you want to take those cat-cow circles or maybe figure eights with the hips, whatever feels good to release this little sequence here. And in your own time, just coming back to neutral as we find the sequence on the opposite side. So first moving to our low lunge, bringing that left foot in between the hands. 2 breaths here, staying nice and low. Coming to our crescent lunge, we can inhale, bring the arms up, interlocking fingers, index point up. Arms are parallel to the ears if it feels appropriate. Maybe gaze comes up and we find a slight back bend here, opening up through the chest. Not forgetting about our breath here. On an exhale, dropping those fingertips back down. We can tuck those right toes, straightening through both of the legs, coming to our pyramid pose from here. staying on fingertips, palms, or maybe blocks if you have that at home. Trying to bring our nose to our knee and keep our hips square. Emphasizing the breath on the back of the left leg. Inhaling ourselves up, coming to our lizard pose from here. Heel toeing that left foot to the left side of the mat. Hands come to the inside. Staying up on palms, or maybe you can come down to your elbows. Just taking whatever arm variation feels best for you. Remembering this isn't a competition. You can take the ego out of it. Just choose a steady, comfortable position where you can maintain your natural breath rhythm. And transitioning here to our cow face legs, bringing that left knee in front of the right and sitting ourselves back. Trying to stack that left knee over top of the right. Once again, this is very intense pose. If it's not appropriate for you, please just choose a cross-leg position with that right shin in front. So just choose what feels right for you here. Taking a breath in this seated position, we can inhale the arms up straight, folding forward. Also optional just to stay up and seated if that's enough for you. You can come to fingertips, palms, and maybe fold the head down forward if that feels all right. And walking ourselves up with the hands. You can bring the hands behind you, just taking a windshield wiper motion, releasing this intense posture. And crossing legs, just moving into our standing forward fold from here. So a couple of options if you want to keep legs hip distance and come into ragdoll, bringing opposite elbows and just shaking out the body. Feel free to stay here, or bringing feet closer together, grabbing onto the back of the heels, bringing the fingers underneath, pinkies together. We can fold ourselves forward, trying to bring the belly to the top of the thighs and the head underneath the knees. Pulling on the back of the heels to straighten through the legs. Slowly pulling yourself closer, moving deeper on our exhales. And we can release this pose. Moving back to ragdoll. And just rocking ourselves up. You can keep a generous bend in the knee here. And bringing hands to the mat, opening up, heels in, toes out. We move to Malasana from here, bending ourselves down. We're gonna come back from our Malasana to our forward fold. So on an inhale, straightening through the legs again. Exhaling, squatting back down. Just repeating this for a few more rounds. Move to the pace of your own breath. And coming to Malasana, bringing hands into prayer, using the elbows to push the knees apart, staying nice and strong in the lower body. We can walk those left fingertips out and reach the right hand up, opening up through the chest. And finding this on the opposite side, walking forward, those right fingertips, extending that left hand overhead. Coming back to Malasana in the middle here, we're gonna walk ourselves forward into downward facing dog. Spreading out through the fingertips. Maybe heels come down to the mat, maybe not. We can rock out the hips, paddle out the legs, really just move any way that feels good for you. And moving to 3-leg dog from here, we're gonna inhale that right leg up straight and bending through that knee. Trying to bring that right foot over to the left glute. And moving to pigeon from here, bringing that right knee behind the right wrist, straightening through that left leg. Can stay up on palms or fingertips here if this is enough for you, or maybe folding ourselves down, coming to elbows. Maybe forehead can reach the mat. If you have props at home, feel free to use them. We're gonna take 5 deep breaths here. Softening on our exhales, using the breath to release tension. If you were folded down, just walking yourself up with the hands. We're gonna meet back in downward dog. Just feel free to get out of pigeon, whatever feels best for you. Maybe just leaning the weight on the hip. If you need to take some windshield wiper motions before we meet in downward dog, feel free to do that as well. And again, paddling out the legs or rocking out the hips if that feels good, or optional to just be in stillness. And we're gonna move to 3-leg dog on the opposite side, stretching that left leg up straight and bending into the knee, opening the hip, trying to bring that left foot over to the right glute. Remembering to stay nice and square in the shoulders. We're not opening up through this left side, but remaining square. And bringing that left knee to the behind of the left wrist, straightening out through that right leg. Can stay up on hands or fingertips, or on an exhale, folding ourselves forward. Maybe bringing elbows or forehead to the mat, also optional to use props here. And we'll be here for 5 deep breaths. If you were folded, just walking yourselves up with the hands. Bringing the weight to that left side. We're gonna move into child's pose from here. So just move in whatever way feels most comfortable. And coming to extended child's pose, knees can be mat distance, toes together, and walking ourselves forward with the hands, bringing forehead to the mat. And walking ourselves up with the hands, we're gonna move to a laying position from here. So spreading out, taking up lots of room. Starting by taking the right knee in towards the chest, bringing hands underneath the knee, and just giving yourself a little squeeze here. And finding a twist from here, bringing that right knee over to the left side of the mat, stretching out through that right arm, pressing that right shoulder blade into the mat. If this feels too intense of a twist for you, feel free to place that right knee underneath for a bit of added support. It'll make this twist less intense so it can feel a bit more supportive for you. And releasing out of this twist. This time straightening that right leg and squeezing the left knee in towards the chest. Once again, find this laying spinal twist. Bring that left knee over to the right side of the mat. Stretching through that left arm, pressing shoulder blade into the mat. Gaze goes to those left fingertips. Maybe bringing that right leg underneath the left if that feels good. Coming back up, squeezing that left knee into the chest. Bringing the right knee up to meet it, just giving yourself a hug. Rocking out, giving yourself a little massage for the spine. Dropping the head back down, moving to happy baby from here, either grabbing big toes with the two peace fingers or the outside of the feet, just making sure we're pressing the entire length of your spine onto the mat. You can choose stillness or maybe come to a rock here. Optional to straighten into one leg and maybe straighten it into the other. And releasing out of happy baby. Moving to our laying butterfly. Bringing feet together, creating a diamond shape with the legs. You can place arms by your side or maybe just bringing them above you, creating a slight chest opening. And coming to Shavasana, our final resting pose, taking up lots of space here, spreading out the arms and the legs. Just taking a few quiet moments here to soak up all the benefits from this practice. And taking 3 deep breaths here. Wiggling into fingers and toes. We can stretch arms overhead, stretching out through the entire length of the body. And in our own time, just moving to a seated position from here. And we'll meet in the center of our mat to close out practice. And coming to a comfortable seated position, can shut down the eyes, just bringing hands to prayer in front of the chest. Just expressing some gratitude to ourselves for showing up here and moving our body. Bringing hands to the forehead and bowing forward. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat here today. I hope your hips and hamstrings are feeling amazing after this deep stretch. If you enjoyed this practice, definitely let me know in the comments below and let me know if there are any other practices you'd like me to do. I read every single comment, so be sure to let me know what you think down below, and I hope to practice with you super soon.